Charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. Let's jump into these charts as we always do. We're going to look at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, then the 24-hour-a-day Ethereum. Then we're going to look at Bitwise, top 10 cryptos. Let's see where we are on Bitcoin as we look at the charts right now. Up 0.88% for the day. Of course, this chart is different than our typical XBTF chart that we look at, which is, of course, the Bitcoin ETF that tracks Bitcoin during the market. This is the 24-hour-a-day chart, and of course, we see that, again, it's a bit cleaner. As we watch Bitcoin start going green on our Heikin Ashi candlesticks, it appears to stay green longer. We have a little fake out every now and then, but again, when things do move in Bitcoin, sometimes that first week they really take off and then don't go much higher, as we see in these two prior moves. A little better at the beginning of the year, and then a fake out here. You know, it started to move down, then popped up, but maybe it was just getting itself going and getting a rhythm. This latest move, much better. Started off slow, but built, pulled back this week, got you a little nervous if you were in it that week beginning the 9th of October, and then turned back around and moving in the right direction. We look at the 2-day. You can see where we really had things pop up on that Sunday, Monday, and that Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, it's just continued to move along. What about Ethereum? Ethereum cleaner over this last move. Took it a while to get going. Tried, stalled, and stopped. But these last 3 weeks, again, okay. Now Bitcoin right at this time down 1.09%, but moving in the right direction. Again, some big days here, same as with Bitcoin. And of course, you see that a lot. When Bitcoin's moving, everything, not everything, but a lot of things really take off. Now let's look at Bitwise. This is an ETF. And of course, it's the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share. What do we see it doing? Well, 4 weeks, moving up. Took off okay. And then these last weeks, the last 3 weeks in particular, moving up. Now, again, not a lot more past that first week of the real strong up move, and we'll continue to keep our eye on things. Again, everything got sloppy right in this interim period after the first, second, and third up move. This latest one moving in the right direction, making us feel better, but again, a lot easier charts to track and chart. Now let's move from cryptocurrencies to commodities. A few of those for you today. Copper turning around a little bit over the last 3 weeks. We saw where it bottomed after a spike in volume back there on the week beginning 16th of October, and then settling out the week beginning the 23rd of October. In the last 2 weeks, moving up, down a little bit for the day. Now silver, I'll call your attention to. I was talking about on today's show how gold pulling back, silver pulling back too. Not a lot to write home about this last move in silver. We didn't do anything in it. It just sort of died on the vine. Popped up high the first week and then just slid sideways and slowed down. And now appears to be dying after blowing through the weekly trend line. What about soybeans? Well, soybeans after 5 weeks of down movement, moving up nicely. Is it going to top out somewhere around these prior highs? Don't know, but soybeans moving up. Oil down. Oil was one of those things, and the markets are really struggling, that continued to push up. And now we see oil moving over, heading down. Maybe that's indicative of what's going on in economies around the world, struggling to stay up. Lastly, we'll go to currencies. From cryptocurrencies to commodities, now to currencies. Look at the euro. After many, many weeks of down movement, settled out. You can see this spinning top here with above average volume, then settled, and then starting moving up. So again, down a little bit right now as I look at the Euro Trust, but moving up, moving in the right direction. Look at where the volume goes this week. Look at all this volume in the past, and particularly here where the turnaround occurred. So again, keep your eye on the volume and the price. We look at the Australian dollar, just sort of lackluster, but the last 2 weeks, okay on that, not reaching the high of last week yet. Keep your eye on it and on the volume. Lastly, we'll go to the British pound. What is up with the pound? Again, after many weeks of down movement, we can see it struggling to move. Now, the high last week was 119.05. This week, 119.25, so it has moved up some. We'll continue to keep our eye on things, see where the pound is going. That is where we are, folks, on Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Once a week, we like to pull back, take a look at what's going on with some real stuff, particularly with currencies, comparing those to what's going on in the markets, looking at what commodities are doing, whether it's things like silver, like copper, whether it's edibles like wheat and soybeans. And again, it's just fun to see, along with everything in the energy market, from the U.S. gas fund to oil to natural gas, important, particularly as we roll into winter, to keep up on that. And then see what overall economies, currencies are doing. God bless, my friends. Always love to hear from you. Patreon supporters, thank you so much for taking care of us and helping underwrite the cost of the channel. If you're not a Patreon supporter and want to become one, first thing we give you right out of the gates, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way 3-part series, teaching you about options and how to immediately start practice trading them and gaining that knowledge and skill set. God bless.